In the year 20XX AD, Mega Man has managed to preserve world peace by defeating the evil Dr. Wily once more. But only a few months after Mega Man's last victory over the evil scientist. 8 robots claiming to be working for Dr. Wily started a revolt, plunging the world into chaos once again. However, I swear, Dr. Wily, I didn't want this to happen. I don't know what caused my robots to go berserk. Let's work together to fix this horrible mistake. Alright. It seems Dr. Wily was sincere for once, so both he and Dr. Light got to work. Right away. It looks like some other force is controlling your robots, Dr. Wily, but I have no idea what it is. Help! Mega Man, go after Dr. Wily's kidnapper. It might be the key to this mystery. Right, I'm on it! You're next, Mega Man. Ha 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 ha. Man, my evil laugh is so good. They should hire me for real. Anyways, what is up everybody? It's Curiosity Man, and I'm here to do some challenge runs. I know I'm not the first to do it, but I don't care because I want to do it. It just seems like fun to do. I'm going to be doing the Robot Master stages of this game, Buster only, and without getting hit. That is the rules. And don't worry, I know the exact order I'm going to be doing these in as well. The order I'm going to do this challenge in is I'm going to go from Glue Man first, and then I'm going to go counterclockwise. I have to do an entire stage with only the Mega Buster without getting hit. If I get hit at any point during the first half of the stage, or second half of the stage, or even at the boss fight, then I have to start the whole stage all over again. That is what I'm doing. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this part because I don't want to have to redo this specific section of the video every time I fail in Glue Man stage or whatever stage that I was starting with for a game that I'm starting this challenge for. So, see you in a blip. Alright, let's try some recorded attempts, why not? Let's try some recorded attempts. I've already practiced it enough now. Here. There we go. I forgot. Of these enemies where you shoot and your shots get stuck like glue and they rebound. Such a genius idea for an enemy. I also really like those enemies, they're really fun to fight. The rhythm is great. There's an upcoming Met. And said rebound shots can actually kill other enemies, which I think is awesome. There we go. Oh, for the platypus. I should do that every time I run into one of those. Okay, upcoming second platypus. Third platypus. Da, 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 da. Remember, high shots. You have to destroy those things, like, as soon as you see them, by the way. Because if you don't, eventually they'll stop and do a full screen attack that's undodgeable. That's why whenever I see those things, I'm trying to essentially destroy them immediately. There's the big eye of this game. Okay, time for Glue Man. Wow, okay. Did it on my first try. Sorry for not talking during that fight. I generally prefer to stay silent for that fight, even though it's not even hard. It's a very easy fight, but it's also one of those easy fights where I prefer to just be focused. Because it has a certain rhythm to it. And if I do break rhythm and I'm talking, then it's going to be harder for me to get back on rhythm. Because I'm getting distracted by my own commentary, you know? But anyways, yay. I have a successful run against Glue Man. Which means I can get to practicing the next Roulette Master eventually. And by eventually I mean probably not too long from now. And since I'm going counterclockwise, that means next is Nail Man. So, I'll see you at the outtakes, is what I would say if there were actually any outtakes, but there are none. Oopsie daisy, I guess I over-practiced off screen. Alright, so since we had no outtakes this time, that means we're getting straight into this. This is how I'm going to be doing the difficulty ratings, via a tier list. And this is also how I'm going to do difficulty ratings at the end of videos for every single stage that I do. Thankfully, a Mega Man Unlimited Robot Master ranking does exist, so I can use this. Of course, we're going to be doing Glue Man, and I'm going to be honest, I thought this was going to be harder than it was, but it really wasn't. When you get down to it, at least in my opinion, in a buster only and no damage run, I genuinely think Glue Man stage is a 1 out of 10. I can't think of a single area where realistically I should be struggling in any sense as long as I'm just playing at my best. Not even the Platypus mini-bosses, which at the end of the day, when I was practicing for the stage, all of my practice fails that were off camera, that were to any of the Platypus bosses, including the third one, were ultimately just me being greedy and not from real difficulty. Not even the third one, the arena, is actually a big problem. There's a specific rhythm you can get when fighting against them, where basically you have a very easy way in all cases, no matter the arena, to be able to jump over the press that they do with their back leg that shakes the screen. And it's extremely easy to do when you have the rhythm down pat. Also, ultimately, none of the enemy placements are really that bad either. Well, they're basically, at the end of the day, every single enemy placement, even including the green cannon things, I don't know what they were called, but even those, at the end of the day, if you just know where they are and are fully prepared for them, and have an exact, specific way that you're going to deal with them, they're just not difficult to deal with at all because of their placements. They're also not placed in ways around other enemies for them to become a problem either. Same goes for the enemies that absorb your shots by having your shots stick to them in glue. There are no net placements that are a real issue. Even the screen clear enemies are not placed in such a way that are an actual problem. As long as it's a screen where you have enough time to just speed right past them, or you have the time to kill them before they even have the chance to let off their attack, which you do, then you're good. Oh, and of course, there's also those big red enemies, which are also not very difficult to deal with. They just have a specific rhythm to them. Literally, as long as you get that down pat, you're good. The big eye at the end, even with the freaking glue on the bottom, it literally doesn't matter, because as long as you remember, you can just short jump if you ever need to move, and even then, you really don't need to move, because the big eyes of this game, I know they're not called big eyes, but I'm calling them that. The big eye archetype of the game is not really that durable, and on top of that, their shots don't actually go very far. So because of this, you can just take it down really quickly and then barely have to move, as you saw in the successful footage. And then lastly, of course, you have Glue Man himself, who's unironically the easiest Robot Master of the entire lineup in my opinion. Maybe the only possible competition for that, from what I've practiced beforehand, the only potential competition would have to be Tank Man, potentially in the future, off memory from when I practiced just the boss fight before. He's like the only potential competition, because at the very least with Glue Man, he is a really easy fight, but he's also one of those fights where I feel like it's better to just be silent throughout so you can fully focus on keeping rhythm. But even then, it is very easy to restore your rhythm even if you mess it up. And it's easy to do so without getting hit. I feel like any time when I was practicing Glue Man where I was getting hit was not from real difficulty and was basically just from me being an idiot. And that describes Glue Man stage in general, not just Glue Man. Once I actually understood the stage, every single fail that I had off camera honestly didn't feel like real difficulty, it just felt like gimmicks. It just felt like either gimmicks, or it felt like I was just playing like an idiot. And not real, actual, challenging gameplay. That's why, ultimately, Something I thought that this was going to be a lot higher than 1 to 10. I was expecting maybe the Platypus mini bosses, particularly the third one, to actually be trickier than they were, potentially being in the 6 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 range, but no. No. They were way easier than I thought. Every single aspect of the stage was way easier than I thought. 1 out of 10 for sure. Well, now that that's out of the way, of course, because I'm going counterclockwise, the next Rope Master will be Nailman. So I'll be seeing y'all whenever I get to that. Take care, everybody.